Welcome to today's podcast. We are exploring the invisible machinery of governance in Chinese history. This brings us into the world of the Baojia System.
保甲制度
The Baojia System was a vast administrative and legal framework that quietly bound together the people of Qing China for nearly 3 centuries. Our story is based on an academic article by Zhao Chenjing
赵晨景
from Xinjiang University titled An Analysis of the Legal System of Baojia in the Qing Dynasty,
清代保甲法律制度之叹息
published in Open Journal of Historical Studies in 2024. Through this episode, we'll explore 1. How this ancient system evolved into the backbone of Qing governance. 2. The legal sources that shaped its power. 3. How it kept order, collected taxes, and monitored households. 4. And why, despite its ingenuity, it eventually collapsed under its own weight. Let's begin with a simple question. How do you rule an empire of 400 million people when most of them are farmers scattered across mountains and plains without telegraphs, police, or national ID cards? The Qing's answer was Bao Jia, a fusion of law, surveillance, and social responsibility. Part 1. Historical background. The long evolution of Baojia. The roots of
保甲制度
reach deep into China's political past. Zhao Chenjing reminds us that its prototype dates back to the reforms of
商鞅
during the Warring States period, 475 to 221 BC. His
15连坐之法
The law of collective responsibility by tens and fives tied every household to the behavior of its neighbors. Fast forward to the
宋朝
Qing Dynasty minister
王安石
institutionalized the Baojia Ordinance,
基县保甲条例
which organized households into
保大保
and
都保
each tier supervised the one below, forming a lattice of control and mutual obligation. By the
明朝
Qing Dynasty, the Baojia had matured into an instrument of local governance. The Bao leaders managed disputes, marriages, and land records, sometimes wielding more influence than magistrates themselves. Then came 1644, and the Manchus entered Beijing. The new Qing rulers asked themselves, how could they govern such an enormous, diverse land while maintaining Manchu supremacy? Their answer: adopt, adapt, and perfect the Baojia system. In August 1644,
摄政王多尔衮
issued a decree establishing a 10-house system. 10 households make a jia, 10 jia make a bao. Each level had the duty to monitor the others, a grassroots network of surveillance. Failure to report a crime, a theft, a fugitive, or even a suspicious stranger meant collective punishment.
连坐
This principle, one fails, all suffer, became the psychological cornerstone of Qing local order. Part 2. The legal sources. 5 pillars of Baojia law. Zhao identifies 5 major legal foundations
法律渊源
that sustained the Qing Baojia system. 1.
大清律例
The Great Qing Code. This was the empire's highest law, refined across the reigns of emperors
顺治帝、康熙帝、雍正帝、
and
乾隆帝。
within it lay explicit statutes regulating the duties of Bao and Jia heads, penalties for negligence, oversight responsibilities of county magistrates. The Baojia thus wasn't an informal practice. It was written law. 2.
谕旨、
Imperial decrees. The emperor's word was law. When provincial officials petitioned on local problems, the emperor's written response, a zhìdù, held full legal power. Zhao cites one striking example. In 1736, Governor Fu De of Henan proposed using Baojia registration to improve famine relief transparency. Emperor Qianlong approved, ordering a pilot program, a fascinating early case of data governance in the 18th century. 3.
大清会典、
And
会典事例、
administrative codes and precedents. This compendia described the duties of every ministry. Baojia appeared throughout, from the
李藩院、
The Manchu name literally means the Department for the Administration of Outlying Regions to the
督察院、
Inspectorate, revealing how deeply embedded it was in imperial administration. 4.
则例、
Regulatory compilations, especially the
户部则例、
which dictated how villages were divided and how both settled and mobile populations were tracked. 5.
省例、
Provincial regulations. These localized rules show the flexibility of imperial law. For example, in Fujian, provincial statutes detailed how Baojia inspections should adapt to mountainous terrain and scattered fishing communities. Taken together, these 5 sources formed a multi-layered legal web from emperor to village gate. Part 3. 3 functions of Baojia: order, tax, and identity. 1. Maintaining order.
治安、
Each village operated under a 3-tier structure.
牌、
Neighborhood signboard.
价、
10 households.
保、
100 households. Every home was required to display a name plaque listing its residents. Suspicious activity, gambling, smuggling salt, harboring fugitives had to be reported immediately. Failure to do so invoked
连坐、
punishment, collective responsibility. In the capital, this system extended even to
八旗、
nobles and their retainers. Even princes' households could be punished for harboring criminals. As one edict put it,
保甲之社，除有安良，最为善法。
the Baojia's establishment to remove the wicked and secure the good is the finest law. 2. Managing taxation.
赋税、
The Baojia system didn't collect taxes directly. It supervised compliance. The Bao head was personally responsible for ensuring that his members paid on time or pay in their stead. Zhao notes that in practice, this meant local small landlords advanced taxes for their tenants to protect their standing. 3. Registering households.
户籍、
Every quarter, Baojia leaders submitted reports of births, deaths, marriages, and migrations. The goal wasn't just demographic, it was political. By tracking who lived where, the Qing state could control movement, prevent banditry, and ensure every male could be taxed or conscripted for labour. The law even included the floating poor, boatmen, beggars, monks, assigning them into virtual Baojia units for monitoring. Part 4. Social impact, control, and corruption. Zhao Chenjing's analysis is balanced. She praises the Baojia for its ability to extend imperial power to the grassroots,
将全部社会成员纳入清廷的管理网络，
to bring every member of society into the Qing's administrative net. But she also highlights two serious flaws. One, extortion by yamen runners.
衙役
Local enforcers exploited Baojia procedures, demanding fees for record keeping, inspection, even lodging. Since official budgets didn't cover these costs, corruption thrived. 2. Unrewarded responsibility.
责重赏轻，
Baojia leaders bore huge responsibilities, but received almost no compensation. Punishments were severe: beatings, demotion, even public shaming. But rewards were symbolic: red flowers and plaques. As a result, enthusiasm faded and the system hollowed out. By the 19th century, as foreign threats and internal decay set in, the once mighty Baojia system, like the empire itself, entered what Zhao calls
渐次废弛之状，
a state of gradual disuse. Part 5. Conclusion. The legacy of Baojia. In her conclusion, Zhao Chenjing offers a nuanced verdict. Despite its flaws, the Qing Baojia system succeeded in maintaining basic social order across one of history's largest empires. It was an early form of governance by data, community, and fear, a hybrid of moral order and bureaucratic discipline. For the modern listener, it raised enduring questions. Is social harmony possible without surveillance? When does mutual responsibility become mutual suspicion? And what happens when the law depends on fear rather than trust? The Baojia reminds us that law is never just about punishment or procedure. It's about the architecture of power embedded in everyday life. Reflection questions for audience. 1. How does the idea of collective responsibility
连坐，
resonate with today's digital surveillance systems? 2. Could a modern democracy adopt aspects of the Baojia system for community safety without replicating its authoritarianism? And 3. What does the decline of Baojia tell us about the limits of central control in a vast state? Stay connected.